vigilantism, discriminatory policies and laws, vandalization of mosques and holy places, judicial cover to criminal acts, rising hate speech and crimes against Muslims, media propaganda, and social media trolling. The COVID-19 pandemic has just become one more tool to promote hatred against Muslims, branding them as spreaders of the disease. This has resulted in an increase in hate crimes, introduction of apartheid-like policies by hospitals, and even banning the entry of Muslim patients outright. This is shameful. Taking advantage of the world's preoccupation with the COVID-19 pandemic and to perpetuate its illegal occupation of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the BJP government has introduced illegal domicile rules in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir in a bid to change the disputed region's demography and to advance the Hindutva agenda through a demographic assault, which, I may remind the world, is a war crime under the Fourth Geneva Convention. India today reflects a dangerous fascist ideology of the Nazis in Europe, which led to the Holocaust and eventually to World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the part of my conversation relating to global security architecture and institutions in the post-COVID world, I would like to say first that we need to defeat the pandemic. We are not there yet. The nations of the world need to pool their scientific, intellectual, and economic resources in coming up with viable vaccines and therapies. These vaccines should be reasonably priced and accessible to all. If altruism cannot be a motivation in this regard, enlightened self-interest should be. Leaving a pool of underserved individuals and nations will only leave a strength of infection that will threaten the world again. We should make no one is safe until everyone is safe our motto. Once we have tackled this pandemic, we should engage in a comprehensive collective exercise to review our actions and our successes and failures in this regard, so that we can then identify best practices and determine our future course to prevent and combat such pandemics. We must also embrace a more holistic concept of security to include health, nutrition, and economics into it. Human deprivation in these areas is not only an enabling factor in propagating pandemics, but is also the driver of global phenomena such as irregular migration. We must give primacy to multilateralism. Only then can we promote everyone's security in a non-zero-sum manner. Ladies and gentlemen, we do understand that alliances and partnerships are the staple of interstate relations and the international order. However, here too, a certain probity must be exercised. Do these arrangements promote regional or global security, or do they promote narrow, self-aggrandizing and hegemonic interests of some powers? That is the question we must confront honestly today. The newfangled construct of the Indo-Pacific region is a case in point. Pursuing policies of exclusivity in the Indian Ocean and promoting dominance of one state without taking on board the concerns of all regional and Indian Ocean littoral states would add further volatility to this region. Another dangerous notion is the designation of India as a, and I quote, net security provider in South Asia, which seems to have bestowed India with a sense of entitlement to develop capabilities beyond genuine national security needs or requirements. Increased access to sensitive technologies facilitated by exemptions from non-proliferation norms that India has brazenly violated in the past, has also enabled India to pursue these objectives. Propping up a nuclear-armed country run by an ultra-nationalist and supremacist ideology-driven government, which has active conflicts with all its neighbors, is a dangerous proposition and fuels further instability and insecurity in the region. The extremism of the ruling dispensation in India has only increased, and its proclivity to use violence beyond its borders has also grown. Again, this is not a step in the right direction. If regional and international security and stability are the objectives, then there needs to be a directional change on the part of the great powers and on the part of ambitious governments like the present Indian government. I also want to raise concerns in the direction in which the European Union is going, where it is further polarizing and marginalizing its own European citizens who happen to be Muslims. This does not bode well for peace and security, not only in Europe, but also in the region beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the world today is confronted with multiple global challenges. The COVID crisis, resurgence of old and emergence of new conflicts, extremist state-backed ideologies, and renewed competition across frontiers. All this is further exacerbated because the powerful are looking inwards and the powerful are moving towards greater polarization rather than greater cooperation with the rest of the world. We cannot meet these challenges without multilateral cooperation and solidarity. Hypernationalism and populist extremism must not prevent the international community from taking resolute measures to ensure peace and security and socio-economic development for all. We must remember, as a global community and with growing interdependence, we sink or rise together. There can be no other way to move forward in the world in the post-COVID environment. Thank you all.